August 22nd, 2026, Barclays Center, Brooklyn. The Indiana Fever are in town to face the New York Liberty in a critical late-season matchup. Two of the best teams in the league, playoff positioning on the line, the kind of game that should be all about basketball. Except before the opening tip, something happens that makes the actual game almost irrelevant. The national anthem plays. The Liberty roster, the entire roster, stays in the locker room. Not on the court, not on the bench, gone. Indiana takes the floor, but here's where it gets weird. Only one Fever player puts her hand over her heart. Sophie Cunningham, standing alone, center court, hand over heart. Her own teammates, they're out there with her, but their hands are behind their backs. And the Brooklyn crowd, they let her know exactly how they feel. Boos. Loud, sustained boos. The visual is striking. One player, isolated, visibly committed to a gesture her teammates aren't making, while the opposing team refuses to even be in the building. The clip hits social media before the anthem's even over. Within hours, it's everywhere. And the reactions are exactly what you'd expect in 2026. Instant, polarized, and absolutely nuclear. Cunningham's defenders flood the replies. They're calling her an all-American rock star, a patriot, someone willing to stand, literally, for what she believes in, even when it makes her a target. Her critics call it performative, a political stunt, a deliberate provocation designed to draw exactly this kind of attention. And both sides are dug in deep. But here's the thing, this moment didn't come out of nowhere. Sophie Cunningham's been at the center of a firestorm for over a month now, and it all traces back to one interview. July 21st, 2026, ESPN's Hallie Grossman publishes a profile on Cunningham. In it, Cunningham goes on the record with her stance on transgender athletes in women's sports. Quote, "I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men." The reaction is immediate. The WNBA issues a statement clarifying that there are currently no transgender women playing in the league and no immediate eligibility questions on the table. Doesn't matter, the debate explodes anyway, because this isn't really about the WNBA's current roster. It's about the broader culture war over women's sports, fairness, inclusion, and whose voices get to define the boundaries of competition. And Cunningham becomes the face of it, whether she wanted that role or not. Since those comments hit, every Fever road game has turned into a flashpoint. The August 22nd game at Barclays is the third straight road game to draw rallies outside the arena. Protesters and counter-protesters, signs, chants, the whole circus. The game itself becomes secondary. The arena's the stage, but the real battle's happening on the street and online. So when Cunningham stands alone for the anthem with her hand over her heart, it's not just a personal choice. It's a statement, a visible, undeniable statement in front of a hostile crowd and a global social media audience that's already primed to react. Her teammates' decision to stand with hands behind their backs, that's a statement too. The Liberty staying in the locker room, another one. Every choice in that moment is loaded. And the boos, those aren't just about the anthem. They're about everything Cunningham represents to that crowd. To her critics, she's someone weaponizing patriotism to push a transphobic agenda. To her supporters, she's a woman being punished for defending women's sports. The anthem moment becomes a proxy battle for all of it. Now let's talk about what this does to the actual game, because the basketball still happens, and it matters, at least in terms of the standings. Liberty win 109-102. New York controls the game from the jump, building a lead that reaches double digits at its largest. Indiana never leads by more than 2 points the entire night. The Fever keep it close. They fight back multiple times, keep the margin manageable, but they never really threaten to take control. Final score, Liberty 109, Fever 102. After the win, New York sits at 23-15. Indiana falls to 24-14. The Liberty pull within one game of the Fever in the standings with 7 games left to play. This is a critical win for New York. They came into the night 2 homes back. Now they're right there. Playoff seeding's on the line. Home court advantage is on the line. But outside the arena, outside the box score, nobody's talking about the basketball. The storyline is Cunningham, the anthem, the boos, the debate. And here's where it gets complicated for the WNBA. The league's already stated there are no trans athletes currently in the league. The issue, from a pure roster standpoint, is theoretical, but the debate's very real, and it's not going away. Cunningham's not backing down. Her supporters aren't going anywhere. Her critics aren't either. Every time the Fever hit the road, there's a chance this happens again. Another protest, another viral moment, another round of social media warfare. The WNBA is trying to focus on basketball. They've got a competitive season, rising stars, playoff races that should be the story. Instead, one player's public stance on a culture war issue is threatening to overshadow everything else. And the league's in a bind. They can't silence Cunningham without triggering a massive backlash from her supporters. They can't endorse her views without alienating a huge portion of their fan base and their own players. So they're stuck in the middle, issuing careful statements, trying to thread a needle that might not have any thread left. Meanwhile, Cunningham's social media engagement goes through the roof. Her defenders call her brave. Her critics call her a distraction. But everyone's talking about her, and in 2026, attention is currency. Whether that's good for her, good for the Fever, or good for the league long term, that's the question nobody can answer yet. The Fever have 7 games left. If Cunningham keeps standing alone, keeps drawing boos, keeps being the flashpoint, does that galvanize Indiana, or does it become a distraction they can't overcome? The Liberty just pulled within 1 game. The race is tight. The stakes are high. But the conversation's not about the race anymore. It's about the anthem, the hand over the heart, the player standing alone, and the crowd that booed her for it. This is Uncharted State's Angle. We cover how the world reacts to America in sports, and sometimes how America reacts to itself. Sophie Cunningham's anthem moment is both. A story about sports, culture, identity, and the impossible position athletes find themselves in when the game becomes the least important thing happening on the court. The Fever and Liberty will meet again if the playoffs shake out that way. The basketball will be elite. The crowd will be loud. But if August 22nd taught us anything, it's that the most memorable moments aren't always the ones in the box score. Sometimes they happen before the game even starts, and sometimes one player standing alone says more than a final score ever could.